we are going to observe Unit 4, Lesson 4, Lab, Calculating Speed. I did not have a board that measured 1 meter long, so what I did was I borrowed some racetrack, and I am using this racetrack to calculate the speed of a car based at a height. And I'm using phone books. Our height here for trials 1, 2, and 3 will be 9.5 centimeters. It's fairly close to the 10 centimeters as stated in the lab. So for today, our ramp height is 9.5 centimeters. And we are going to observe, and we are going to time the time it takes for this car to get from the top of our ramp to the bottom of our ramp, and then from the bottom of our ramp to come to a complete stop. Trial 1 will measure the time from the top of the ramp to the bottom of the ramp. Trial 2 will time the car from the bottom of the ramp to its stopping point, and trial 3 will time the car traveling from the top of the ramp down to the bottom of the ramp until it comes to a complete stop. Now, I do not have a complete meter stick, so I had to measure out an extra few centimeters onto my floor, and that's what I'll be using to start and stop my timing. So we're going to go ahead and do trial number 1, where we're going to measure the time that the car travels from the top of the ramp all the way down to the bottom of the ramp. During this time trial, I did complete the time trial for number 1 3 separate times, so I could take an average of the speed, or average of the times it took the car to travel from the top of the ramp down to the bottom of the ramp where the tape is marked on my floor, and that was 1.5 seconds. For 2, what we are going to do is we are going to start to time the car as it hits the bottom of the track where this piece of tape is, and then comes to a rest on the floor. I'm going to conduct that time trial 3 times and take the average time. The average time that it took the car to get from the bottom of the ramp to a stop was 2 seconds. That was its average time. Now what we need to do is we also need to record the distance that it traveled. In order to do that, I'm going to place a piece of tape at the top of where the car has stopped, and then I'm going to measure it from the mark on the floor here to where the car has rested. I'm starting at the back of my piece of tape, and I'm going to go all the way to where the front of that piece of tape is, and I am going to go ahead and I am going to measure that. I am then going to estimate that the end of the ruler, this yardstick is 91.5 centimeters long, and it appears that we have another ½ centimeter here, so the car traveled 92 centimeters for trial number 2. Trial number 3 is going to begin the same way. We are still using the same height, which happens to be 9.5 centimeters. We are then going to time the car from the time it leaves the top of the ramp all the way down the bottom of the ramp until it comes to a complete rest somewhere on the floor. Go ahead and watch our car as it travels down the ramp onto the floor and comes to a complete stop. I am going to repeat that 3 times, take an average time, and take the average distance that the car has traveled for trial number 3. The average speed from the top of the ramp to the bottom of the ramp was 3.5 seconds, and the distance that the car traveled, which turns out to be 95 centimeters that the car traveled, to 20 centimeters. And we will, for trial 4, we will measure the time it takes from the car to go from the top of the ramp down to the bottom of the ramp. Trial 5 will time the car from 1 meter until it comes to a stop. And trial 6 will time the car from the top of the ramp until it comes to a complete stop. Average speed of the car from the top of the ramp to the point marked down here, which is 1 meter or 100 centimeters, was 1.3 seconds. The average speed for trial number 5 was 2.6 seconds. As you can see, in trial number 5, the car has traveled a considerably longer distance. Because the distance was considerably longer in this run, I did get out a tape measure to help me measure. If we look here, it does say 210 centimeters, and we're about here at 4.5. So we should measure this distance to be 214.5 centimeters. Trial 6, it takes the car an average of 3.6 seconds to travel from the top of the ramp down to the bottom and come to a complete stop. The car averaged a distance of 212 centimeters. It is now your job to complete the rest of the lab. You will now complete the part of the chart in your lab that states the average speed and also answer the analysis questions. We will be answering the questions and calculating the average speed during an illumination.